Good morning, everybody. We are in Brussels and we are visiting today Maitane, who is of an organization that is representing small and medium-sized enterprises in standardization. And first of all, welcome to the talk today.
Thank you, Rudi.
Happy to have you here today because we're eager to learn a little bit more. Small and medium enterprises, standardization. Maybe you can first say a little bit about your organization, about yourself and the organization that you're working at.
Yes, so I'm Maitane Olabarria. I'm the Secretary General of SBS, Small Business Standards, and as you mentioned, it's an organization that is representing European small and medium-sized enterprises in standardization. So we are trying to represent their interests to ensure that the standards meet their needs. And we do this mainly in relation to European and international standardization.
Okay, clear. And what do these small and medium-sized enterprises care about? It's a big thing, standardization, all these lot of big companies around, I guess. And what is their take on standards? Why are they interested in this and engaged there?
So SMEs are interested in standards because they are really essential for them. So they shape the market, and also, let's say that they are also key for market access. Mm-hmm. So standards are very important because if they don't represent SMEs' interest or they don't take into account the characteristics of SMEs, we could have a situation where these standards, rather than benefit SMEs and help them to grow, create barriers for them. So for SMEs, it's important to ensure that to shape the content of these standards, to ensure that there is a level playing field and they can compete with larger players as well in the market.
Okay, clear. And are there all kind of legal dimensions perhaps to that as well when we look at these companies? Can you say something about that?
With legal dimensions, I guess you mean maybe the link between standards and legislation. This is actually a very important aspect for SMEs. As you know, in Europe, we have a specific approach where we have the legislation that has the main requirements, and then you can have standards that are developed to support companies to meet these requirements, and if they use the standard, they have presumption of conformity. So this for SMEs is very important because they have limited resources, less than bigger players. So having this facility of using standards to be able to comply with legislation and putting the products in the market is really a very important aspect for them.
Okay, yeah. Clear. And we just talked about standards now. We haven't been yet talking about what type of standard, but what are the kind of topics that SMEs would care about and perhaps engage in?
So SMEs, as you know, are involved in many sectors in the economy. I would say really in every single sector. So as you can imagine, we do cover many areas from personal protective equipment to construction product standards, or really many areas. A lot of the work is related to safety of products, performance of products. So these are kind of areas we follow. And we also see that more and more with the convergence of technologies and sectors, there is also a stronger emphasis in topics related to digitalization, for example.
Okay, I can imagine. And fast forward 10 years, what topics can you already say? Some what you expect to be important for SMEs?
Well, I'm sure the digitalization doesn't happen from one day to the next. So surely digitalization and issues like we are following now that we will continue to follow in the future, and I think will continue to be important. Issues like artificial intelligence, like cybersecurity, data access, and interoperability is also very important because we see a lot of business models that now are based on their data-driven business models. So that's very important. And another very important area that we are working on, but will continue to be important, are sustainability-related aspects and the green transition. Because we also see, for two reasons, because I think it's becoming a requirement in the market in many areas, but also because we also see increasing number of legislation that companies will need help, for which companies need the help of standards in order to be able to comply with those.
Yeah, thank you. And I imagine an SME being in many respects different from big companies. What are the main challenges being part of standardization, or do you also see perhaps opportunities for a small company to involve in such activities?
I mean, there are challenges. The first one, and I think it's a very obvious one, is the resource challenge, because many SMEs don't have so many resources. You have micro enterprises with 5 people, so dedicating time to standard is let's say, is a big challenge. So that's one of the main challenges. Then the complexity sometimes of the standards when they want to implement them is also a challenge. Sometimes they need help in order to implement them. So that's why we try to ensure that the standards are as easy as possible to implement by SMEs. And I would say also a bit the complexity for understanding the process, because many of them don't understand. So those are the challenges, but I think there are many opportunities from SMEs to get involved. So surely market access, but maybe one I would like to highlight that maybe is not so obvious sometimes is that being involved in standardization also allow them to be, let's say, a bit ahead of what the market what is going to be in the market. So being able maybe to be a bit more innovative and ahead of competitors as well.
So it can be a strategic choice to invest more in that and trying to be at the front line of development.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, to finish, is there any other message perhaps that you want like to share with our students in this interview?
Well, I would say maybe like I think standardization is maybe not such a well-known topic, but surely something that you will find and come across in your professional life in one way or another. Whether you are in engineering, maybe even in marketing, when you are talking about claims on products, product development, any kind of aspect, you are likely to come across an issue related to standards, because you are putting a product in the market, because you are supplying to a company that is asking you to comply with a standard. And this is a knowledge that is very much appreciated by scarce, I would say, and very much appreciated by companies. So I would basically tell them to that they should spend some time in learning about standards and knowing how to use them, because this for sure will open them also career opportunities in the future.
Okay, thank you. And thank you very much for taking some time for us today here and having this talk. And hopefully see you again in the near future.
Thank you, Rudi.
Okay, thanks.